Welcome again to our study of Philippians. I'm Colton with the Springfield Christians. We left off yesterday in Philippians chapter 1 and verse 20, where Paul said that it was his earnest expectation that with all boldness, as always, so now also Christ will be magnified in my body, whether by life or by death. What a powerful statement. Paul is saying and praying that Christ will be glorified in every action that he takes. And every word that he speaks, he longs to honor Jesus. Yet he also prays that even his death will magnify Christ. And he goes on to explain what he means by that. And he says one of the most well-known phrases in the Bible, "For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain." The first half of that passage ties in with what he also says to the Galatian churches in Galatians 2 and verse 20. "I am crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me." Our lives are reflections of Christ's life, both in what we do and in the fact that we have been spiritually made alive. We are, in essence, as Christians, many Christs. His life is now our life. Now, if Paul were to continue to live on after this letter was written, which he did, he would have gone on to live like Christ and continue to preach the gospel. But it's the second half of verse 21 that's so unnatural to us. Paul says that even if he were to die, that would actually be better off for him, because he gets to be with the very one he has lived his entire life for. And certainly going on to be with Christ is so much better than the pain that this world has to offer. But Paul also understands in verses 24 through 26 that being alive and working is better for the benefit of others. It produces biblical progress, joy, and confidence, not in any mere man, but confidence in the power and work of Jesus Christ. Those with a spiritual mindset ought to have a difficult time with the question that Shakespeare asks, to be or not to be. Now, Hamlet asks that question in a despondent way, but Christians do not desire death for death's sake, but for life's. Because the Christian understands that though death happens once, they will then go on to live with Jesus in eternity. But there is also this part of us that can't stand the thought of leaving this world when there are so many souls left unsaved. We yearn to help others escape the sin which so plagues every human soul. And we don't even want to begin to think of the fate for those who refuse eternal life. Thus, the question of living or dying is almost impossible to answer. But I'm willing to accept either, as long as I can continue to exalt Jesus. We are Springfield Christians. Thanks for joining us, and we'd love to see you again tomorrow.